How does a state court get personal jurisdiction over someone? In a criminal matter, it's fairly straightforward. If an individual commits the criminal activity within that state's geographic boundary, the state has jurisdiction, and they can be brought into the court from anywhere else in the United States pursuant to an arrest warrant and extradition warrant. So they're extradited or brought back into that state, and the court exercises jurisdiction over them, personal jurisdiction. Now, in a civil case, it's a little bit different. The court, to establish personal jurisdiction over someone, has to deliver that person with a summons to bring the person into court. Now, to summon someone into court, you have to deliver the summons to them pursuant to the state law. Now, all state laws allow for the summons to be delivered if the person is physically present in the state. Okay? So if a person is physically present in the state, the summons can be delivered within those state borders and bring the person into that state court. And the state court would then have personal jurisdiction over them. Okay? But what happens when I want to sue someone and I go to the state court and I file the action and I seek to serve the summons on them, but they're not here in this state? Okay? Every state has a law called a long arm statute, which allows the summons and complaint to be delivered to that individual outside of the state. Now, these statutes limit situations when a person from outside of the state can be called into the state court and be made subject to personal jurisdiction. These are constitutional law protections here. The Constitution doesn't allow someone to be pulled from another state to be harassed and to be subjected to jurisdiction of a court in this state where they do not have what is called minimum contacts. So to call someone into this state, the person has to either be physically present to deliver the summons or have minimum contacts with this state. And that can mean that the person actually lives here for a substantial portion of the year. They do a substantial amount of business here. They committed the tort or the contract breach or whatever that is the subject of our litigation here physically in this state, or in their certain other limited circumstances. But in any of these situations, the person I'm trying to sue has the minimum contacts necessary to call them in and bring them into the state. So the long arm statute will allow me to send that summons to the person outside of the state, and which is telling the individual that, hey, this state court has jurisdiction over you, even though you're not here. So you have to come into the court and protect yourself. Otherwise, they will adjudicate the matter without you.